Here's how I earn 125% returns on my crypto portfolio using this DeFi strategy. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I earn this, everything that goes into this. You're not only going to make this ridiculous APY, but they also have the airdrop running right now. So they're giving away the points that could potentially be lucrative. That is not the point of this video today, because as you follow through the strategy that I'm going to show you, you are going to earn the points that are required for the airdrop. So we are going to earn that APY by lending assets on Solana. Unlike traditional DeFi platforms that most of us have seen, here you're going to basically create a pool and people can either deposit their NFTs or different tokens and use that as collateral and borrow from your pool. And you have total control over this pool on basically everything that you can imagine of. So I'm gonna get into actually creating this pool just in a second, but I need to explain three things before that. And that is important. And why you may ask? Well, you'll understand in just a second. So those three things are earn, trade, and the borrow products from Rainfi, which is the platform that we're going to use today. I'll be leaving a link for that down in the description. All right, now let's get into these things. So this is the landing page for the Liquid. It's basically built upon the same backend, the same structure and same everything that Rainfi uses. But the thing is, they allow you to convert your staked assets into basically liquid tokens. When you stake with them, instead of staking it directly on Jupiter, which is the only token that is available right now, they give you ST-JUP, so basically staked JUP instead of the JUP token itself. It allows you to borrow against it. So one of the biggest problems in DeFi is when you stake, it obviously has advantages, but at the same time, you have to lock away your cash. Now, that is not a good thing, right? And also, you're gonna have typically a waiting period to basically unstake it. For Jup, I think it's about 30 days, which I don't like, but yeah, that it is what it is. So when you stake with them, you get stake Jup in return and you can borrow USDC against it by using that as collateral. Here, this is the borrow section of the Rainfi platform, which is pretty self-explanatory. We have tokens, NFTs, and BNPL, which I'll get into in a second. Understand a bit more about the platform itself so that you don't end up losing your money. It is pretty simple. You just select the token you want to use as collateral and the token you want to borrow. Then you'll be getting a list of the available options with varying interest, duration, and the amount that you can borrow. And in crypto, in DeFi, you usually have to over collateralize. When you borrow on Rainfi, you will be getting the droplets, which is basically the points thingy of Rainfi. There will be allowing you to get the airdrop. Now let me quickly walk you through the trade feature, which is the most interesting of all, for sure. Basically, what this allows you to do is you can use leverage without the risk of liquidation. Instead, here the risk you have is only of the duration of your loan. There is no liquidation based on the value of your collateral, which means if your trade goes against you, you won't be liquidated, which is the most common way and what we typically see everywhere. Either it's on chain on DeFi apps or off chain on centralized exchanges. But there still exists a risk of liquidation, which happens when you fail to repay the loan on time. But it is pretty cool to basically leverage trade without the risk of liquidations. You can do the same with NFT collections as well, which is what the buy now, pay later feature is about. So NFTs is basically it allows you to borrow against using NFTs as collateral. You'll understand about that in a second. Select Mad Lads as the collection that we're going to use. And now, as you can see, you basically have to only pay a part of it and you can pay the rest later. Cost that you have to take now is less. And after that, price happens to increase. You can just sell it, you get the profit, you keep the profit yourself, and then you repay the loan amount plus the interest. So you're basically leverage trading NFT collections. Or you can just pay the extra amount and take the full ownership of that NFT yourself. To actually make these ridiculous returns, you click on the link that I've given you in the description, and then you'll be landing on a page that looks something like this. So now we'll go into the Earn tab, click on this big plus button, and here I'm going to choose the Pro setup. So here we have two options. One is for NFTs and the other one is for tokens. So that basically is the collateral that you're willing to accept from your borrowers. So let's choose tokens in this example. And then by clicking here, you can basically choose any token that you like. And then you select the loan duration, which is the maximum duration that you're willing to give a loan for. And then we have the APY. And then here you have the option for basically choosing which tokens you are willing to accept as collateral. And the same goes with NFTs. You can just choose the different NFT collections that you are willing to accept as collateral. The safe route would be either choosing a liquid staking token or a stablecoin. And then here you have the option of changing the LTV as well as the exposure. So this basically dictates how much of your pool you're willing to expose to a single token. It stands for loan to value ratio and it represents the maximum amount relative to the collateral value. In crypto, you over collateralize your loans. So if you choose 90% as the LTV, they can take a loan that is valued 90 percentage of their collateral from your pool. And if that is 50, they can only take 50 percentage of the value of their collateral. And if it's 90%, that would be $900. Hope that makes things clear. It's generally recommended to keep this auto swap thingy turned on, and you can turn it off if you're using either stablecoins or LSTs, liquid staking tokens. On Rainfi, liquidations occur only in one way, and that is not based on the values. And then you can just mess around with this advanced pool parameters a little bit. Nothing much here, just the minimum amount of loan and the maximum amount of loan per USD that you're willing to give. You click on next step, make sure everything's right. You click on create pool, approve the transaction, and you'll be good to go. So as you can see, I've created two pools here, one for tokens which is disabled and the other one's for NFTs, and this vault is for USDC. So here in this example, I've deposited $95 and the APY on this is 14% because this is disabled. I'm not using this. What you need to do right now is go join the Telegram channel, first link in the description, click on the playlist that's on the right side of the screen,